So this bullpen for the Yankees has some serious, serious weapons, man. And I have today's lineup for you. They're playing Boston. Come on, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. So a couple of observations I want to make over the last couple of days with the Yankees games, right? The Yankees are why they 1-2, but it really doesn't really matter at this point. It's bits and pieces of player here, player there, and so on and so forth. This is early spring. This is what happens. There's a lot of other guys that are trying to make themselves seen and known and so on and so forth. And gradually you'll see a little bit more of the starting lineup and starting rotation and so on. We already know that Aaron Judge and Austin Wells are not going to play any game action until the beginning of March. And that's by design to keep them healthy. They had a long season, a lot of wear and tear. I know there was concerns with their injury, but they made it clear neither one of these guys is hurt. Neither one. But in the meantime, I want to keep you updated on the latest weapons that the Yankees have and somebody that might be a weapon that we might not think about. Acquisitions, trades, signings, and so on and so forth. So again, if you're a Yankee fan, baseball fan altogether, make sure you're subbed to this channel if you haven't done that yet. And turn on your notifications too. Just one time hit the subscribe, one time hit the notifications. Do that once and I'll take care of the rest. And I thank you so much for it. If you enjoy the content enough to hit the like button, please do that too. And again, I thank you so much. Now, let's get into this. A couple observations, okay? Yesterday's game, they lost 4-0 against the Detroit Tigers, but that really goes without saying. And as you know right now, pitchers are ahead of catchers. Are ahead of batters, excuse me. Why is it? Well, things are different. With pitchers, they're working on their consistency, they're working on adaptability, they work on their release point, right? With bats and even fielders, you're working on positioning and timing. So they're working on different things, but at this point, pitchers are always ahead of the hitters for the first couple of weeks of spring training. At some point, the hitters catch up, but it's still, nevertheless, the hitters that have done the work this offseason, you'll see some bright spots like we saw the other day with Spencer Jones, that home run opposite field, and his swing looks different, right? It shows the work that he's done this offseason. Hopefully, he'll continue that, and he's playing today. He's in the lineup against Boston. I'll get that lineup to you, but some of the guys that I wanted to point out. Okay, obviously Sean Boyle started yesterday through a couple innings. This is a guy who can potentially fill in a spot starter side, depending on what happens with JT Brubaker, who was hit with a comebacker the other day, tweaked something, and whether he stays healthy, or even Carlos Carrasco, whether he stays healthy, Sean Boyle might present an opportunity for himself that the Yankees might not have had before, whether it be long relief, swing man, spot start, or whatnot. So he threw three scoreless innings, pretty quality. Okay, I would keep an eye out for him, but most importantly, I would keep an eye on some of these guys in the bullpen. Fernando Cruz, they acquired from the Cincinnati Reds. He got hit a little bit yesterday, most predominantly with a 3-run home run, but he showed flashes of why he has the best splitter in the game. Okay, and he's also, it looks like he's developing a second pitch to go along with that. Okay, and he needs a second pitch to go along with this, to go along with the splitter. And he averages just under 15 Ks per 9. He struck out 2 yesterday, right? And you see him pitching yesterday, and he doesn't have the 98, 99 mile an hour regular high octane. This guy prides itself on nasty off-speed stuff. Okay, and you saw that yesterday. And I expect him to continue to build on this, especially with Matt Blake in the lab. You develop that second out pitch, he's going to be a serious weapon in the bullpen. Okay, so will Michael Arias, who's the guy they acquired from the Cubs about a month ago as well. The young guy going into, and keep in mind, Fernando Cruz is older. He's 34 years old. He's got four or 5 years of control left. So until he's a free agent. Now on the younger side, Michael Arias, who I just brought up, acquired from the Cubs, he's 22 or 23 years old, also with several years of control. Another big arm. He's got the high octane velocity on the back end. He also averages about 12 or 13 strikeouts per 9 innings. He pitched well yesterday too. He's another one I would keep an eye out. And these guys were acquisitions. So those are the two guys I would look at. In-house, I would look at Eric Raiselman's one of the better arms in the system. He got hit towards the end of the game, but you saw flashes of the potential there too as to why he could be one of the best arms. And again, all these different weapons that Matt Blake has at his disposal could make this historically good bullpen for the Yankees. Really, really could. And I haven't even mentioned Devin Williams. I haven't mentioned Luke Weaver, any of these guys yet. So these are the other guys that I want you to think about. And Cam Schlittler, another one, in-house, top guy. And again, he's got top flight stuff. Okay. And he could also be in line for a possible MLB spot too. Whether it's in the near future, maybe later on the season, so on and so forth. There's always a pitcher that goes down here and there. Who's going to get the first call ups? Schlittler, probably Razelman, some of these guys that we keep an eye out for. And that will keep you in the loop of what's going on with these guys as well, especially guys that will present themselves as options that may not have done that before. It happens every year in the spring. So, but like I said, pitching at this point is always ahead of the bats. Our bats will come around, okay? And despite what's going on, with a lot of folks who aren't even playing yet, I'm not seeing Jazz. You've seen, a little bit of Cody Bellinger. Got another hit yesterday. Okay, but he'll be fine. So Paul Goldschmidt. Sold some of the rest of these guys, even Jason Dominguez, even though he had a feel he lost the ball in the sun yesterday. Okay. And this is the time for him to make his mistakes and to learn. Again, he's essentially being thrown to the major league wolves here. And they're expecting a major league starting position for him. Right. So he's going to have to learn how to make his mistakes, make his adjustments. As long as he has a good supporting cast behind him, which he does, I think he'll be fine. So I would just reserve the whole Mickey Mantle comparisons, the Mike Trout comparisons, and blah, 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 all the comparisons. It's just a waste of time. Okay. I would let Jason Dominguez be Jason Dominguez. Just like Spencer Jones. I would let Spencer Jones be Spencer Jones. Okay. I don't really listen to the talking points, especially the ones on Twitter or X. So I'll keep an eye out on these guys. Okay. They have a pretty dynamic young nucleus here to complement Anthony Volpe, who's hitting the ball with a little bit more authority right now, too. That's one of the things I'm noticing about him, too. So, and I expect the same from Austin Wells. He's having some good swings in batting practice and live pitching. So is Aaron Judge. So is Jazz Chisholm. So some of these other guys. So while they figure out what's going to go on with the third base situation, what we're hearing on third base, too, is it's an up and down story on Nolan Arenado. Can the Yankees afford him? How much are the Cardinals willing to eat? Is their price actually going down? And so on and so forth, right? We don't know yet, which is why a guy presented, he's being pushed as an option is Josh Smith, who's the former Yankees farmhand that they traded to Texas for Joey Gallo. And sounds like he's become expendable in Texas. And some folks are pushing for the Yankees to acquire him in a trade. And the trade that they're suggesting is Will Warren and Everson Pereira to Texas for Josh Smith. Now, Josh Smith is 27. Obviously, he doesn't have the Hall of Fame pedigree that Nolan Arenado has yet. But instead of Nolan Arenado on the downswing, maybe you can catch Josh Smith on his upswing. He's 27 years old. He's got multiple years of control, at least 4, right? And he's had a higher WAR in 2024 than Nolan Arenado had. Nolan Arenado's WAR was just under 3. Josh Smith was just a little bit over 3. Okay? And offensive stats, not super flashy, but they don't need to be. His glove was solid. He played solid defense and solid offense. But his bat, let's see, I'm going to pull up his stats here. He's got a 3.2 WAR, 13 home runs, batted .258 with 135 hits. Okay? So decent sample size there. You don't need a ton of home runs. Yeah, Nolan Arenado had 16. Okay. Batted .272, a little bit higher. Super elite glove. But you're also going to pay 20 times the amount for Nolan Arenado. Do they want to do that? I don't know. Especially when we're hearing from John Heyman and some other folks the Yankees are done spending. That we just don't know what to believe, right? And like I said, I'd rather listen to what Cashman and Hal do as opposed to what beat writers say. But that's just me. Okay, so keep an eye on Josh Smith, too. He could present himself as an option, and he's already familiar with the Yankee way. He came up through their system. He was drafted by them. And he's got multiple years of control. He's young. So could be an option there. Now, on the second note, on the final note, here's tonight's Yankee lineup. They're playing the Boston Red Sox today, baby. See some familiar faces. Leading off, you got Ben Rice behind the dish. Okay, yeah, he's going to be catching. Then Oswaldo Cabrera batting second and third base. Dominic Smith's going to get his first opportunity out there in left field, batting third. Then you have Pablo Reyes batting fourth, second base. Spencer Jones is back in there, batting fifth in center field. Everson Pereira's DHing, batting sixth. TJ Rumfield batting seventh in first base. Roderick Arias, one of our young dynamic infielders, batting eighth at shortstop, and Ismail Manguia. If I butchered that last name, I apologize. Batting ninth in right field, and on the mound, what is making his Yankee debut is Carlos Carrasco. Okay, and again, he's got a history with Matt Blake. He's well respected around the game. He's well respected in the clubhouse too. Okay, so and he would present another opportunity here as well. These guys like the Brewbakers and the Carrascos can present them with Michael King type opportunities, who was a reliever turned swingman, who's now a starter, and so on. Right, so we can get the same opportunities from these guys on the cheap. So stay tuned, gang. I'll keep you updated. Okay, and whatever the Yankees wind up doing today, we'll recap it sometime a little bit later today. So have a great day, everybody. Peace and love to all of you, and I'll see you next time.